What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Gabos. We back on another video. Hit the like and subscribe button for more content. And your boy's also on Twitch now, so if you want to check me out while I'm streaming Call of Duty, Madden, and what else am I streaming? Whatever the hell I feel like streaming, y'all can pull up. But we got Trey Lance's career is in danger. I've been thought Trey Lance's career was over the moment the 49ers drafted him, and they still had Jimmy Garoppolo on a brand new contract. But you know what? Listen, man. I've said in countless other videos, I felt like Trey Lance has gotten the short end of the stick. We've all seen it. It didn't work out on the 49ers. They moved on quickly, shipped him off to Dallas. And I ain't going front, he hasn't given us much to really be excited for as a Dallas Cowboy. I think this kid he had one good game that I reacted to, and I was actually proud of the kid. I'm like, oh shit, Trey Lance looks like he could play. And then he followed that with a 5-interception performance, which we've never seen before. I can't remember the last quarterback, preseason or regular season, that was even allowed to throw 5 picks. But Trey Lance said, yo, I'll gladly take that stage. But apparently his career is in danger, and we're about to get to why. Let's find out. Oh shit, I gotta change the audio. I ain't finna edit this part out. My bad.
I imagine time is running out on Trey Lance, specifically with the Dallas Cowboy, who's
got Trey Lance and it didn't work, and now Lance is just kind of floating around in the wilderness. When is he going to be ready, if ever, to start?
I don't know. Look, is he ready to be a backup?
The NFL preseason's officially over, and if we learned one thing, it's that we might be seeing the end of a sad, disappointing, and honestly, a fairly confusing era. Trey Lance went from being one of the most exciting and promising collegiate quarterbacks of the 21st century to a top 3 pick, to a young guy with a tremendous amount of potential who just couldn't stay on the field. Now he's being called one of the biggest busts in NFL history, and it looks like his career might be coming to an end.
Damn, bust.
Before we get to the content, make sure you drop, like, subscribe,
That's tough.
and notifications to help the channel grow.
That's so crazy too, because you can't control where you get drafted, bro. I know Trey Lance went undefeated in college, and that was like one of the biggest hypes about him coming out and entering the league, and like it looked like it was a match made in heaven going to the 49ers. So I'm like, okay, undefeated quarterback, young protege, looks mobile. You got CMC, Kittle, Debo, Ayuk. This kid got weapons and a defense. So you would have thought that would have been the perfect situation for him, and for it to be where it's at right now, it's like, damn, bro. Like, now we talking about your career being over, and you can't even control where you get drafted or traded. That's tough. Send him to the Pats. Know what I'm saying?
Over football season is only picks for
skip the ads. You know I'm not here for that.
Like check 1,
there
2,
we go.
1, 2. What's going on, everybody? I know what you guys might be thinking.
Mike, the reason why Trey Lance hasn't found success was because he was injured.
He only played for 5 games for the 49ers, and then Brock Purdy was way better than him. But the thing is, it's not like injuries were the only thing that killed Trey Lance's career.
That was crazy too for the 49ers too. Imagine moving up in the draft to take a quarterback in the first round just to find out that the last guy drafted, period, in the entire NFL draft was your quarterback all along. So you had no business giving up those draft picks for Trey Lance just for Brock Purdy to be the savior. It's crazy, bro.
Either. I mean, yeah, maybe the injuries in his first 2 seasons plus the literal once-in-a-lifetime breakout from Brock Purdy are what drove him out of San Francisco. But a guy who was the 3rd overall pick just 3 years ago should have no trouble finding success as a backup. And I know what you might be thinking.
Mike, Trey Lance is a backup.
Yes, he is a backup in Dallas right now, but he's not only sitting behind Dak Prescott, who is poised to sign a massive extension pretty soon, right, Jerry?
And so what our fans, what you're seeing, what we deal with is we're buying time. We're option quarterback, and then we're going on out towards the sideline. We're trying to make our mind up what to do. Does that sound like Mahomes to you a little bit? Okay. It do.
But on top of backing up Dak Prescott, he's also backing up Cooper Rush, who's an undrafted human who has only 8 touchdowns in 7 years. You're not going to start over Dak, but being behind Cooper Rush on the depth chart as well is very telling. But at the same time, even when Dallas traded for Trey Lance, it was clear that he was going to have to earn that backup quarterback spot because Rush has been Mike McCarthy's safety valve for years. The problem is Dallas wanted Lance to earn this job. They didn't go out and get him for no reason. They wanted him to set himself apart and become that talent everyone thought he would be in 2021. Rush may be reliable, but he's not a game changer like Lance has the potential to be. And it's for all the reasons that Chris Sims says in this clip.
He's not horrible, certainly. I mean, he can run the offense, he can make some plays down the field. He's smart, he knows how to play the game. But they traded for Trey Lance. They want Trey Lance to be the backup, it seems like.
Trey Lance needed an opportunity, and Mike McCarthy agreed, giving Lance a huge opportunity to take over as the backup quarterback when he gave Lance the most preseason playing time on the team. Playing as many downs as you can in the preseason is the perfect way to show off your talent, and it usually gives the front office a good idea of the player you truly are. The player Trey Lance truly is threw 5 interceptions in his final preseason game. That's a very rough way to end your personal showcase and potentially your NFL career as a whole. And these picks weren't good throws that had an unlucky bounce. These were really bad interceptions. I mean, take a look at these. The first
I didn't even watch any of them, yo.
5-yard out that was thrown way too late. For the second one, he held the ball way too long and then threw one of the worst picks I've ever seen in a long time. Look at this. Who is this even to? The third pick was clearly just Lance making the wrong read and getting baited by the linebacker, and he even got bullied at the end. The fourth pick was a 50-50, but you don't make that throw under pressure. And the last pick was a legit terrible throw on a play that could have sent the game to overtime.
My gosh.
Now, I don't care much about the preseason, but as a Cowboy fan and possibly even a delusional Cowboy fan, my original thinking was that we traded the late round pick for Trey Lance, hoped that he could develop over the year that he was with the Cowboys, and use that as some sort of leverage in a Dak Prescott negotiation, and he clearly isn't even close to that. I mean, at this point, he's fighting to be a career backup in the NFL. It's clear that Trey Lance doesn't have the arm talent and especially the field awareness to ever be a starting QB in this league, but hey, at least his legs are still electric. With all the volume he was given, he not only led all preseason players in passing yards, but he led all preseason players in rushing yards too. To the naked eye, this could make him look like a good quarterback, but to anybody with eyes, Lance has become exactly what people think Justin Fields has. The two are eerily similar players. They even came from the same draft class, but at least Fields was part of a quarterback competition this summer. Lance is arguably the worst passing quarterback on a NFL roster today. Now, I know that everybody in the comments right now is angry, typing
Not
just
I've
one
ever
game,
seen.
and that bad games happen all the time. But you have to understand, in the case of Justin Fields, we've shown you clips and previous content of him throwing perfect balls in training camp. We've praised his ball placement and have criticized his decision making in the preseason. This isn't like that at all whatsoever, because Trey Lance has been doing this stuff in practice as well. And I haven't even mentioned the fact that this is all against backups. Trey Lance threw 2 picks in a game against the Chargers to Tony Jefferson, who literally got released by the Los Angeles Chargers less than a week later. He's being read like a book by players who aren't even in the league anymore. And it's really hard to find some light in this situation. There's just no way he'd be able to make a positive impact in a regular season game.
They're gonna cut him.
Look no further than Chris Sims' analysis to even further prove this point.
The throwing is not smooth. It's still not natural, right? Go back, anybody out there. Watch a lot of the throws. But the ball's all over the place, even on completions. I mean, yeah, it's complete down the middle, but the guy had to jump up 7 feet in the air and stretch his arms out or go to the ground or turn his body and stop. What just looks more like a great athlete than a guy that can really play quarterback, and that's...
It's just really sad because coming into the league, Trey Lance was one of the most hyped up quarterback prospects of all time.
Yo,
and no, that's not an
do y'all think Trey Lance could succeed at a different position? Because we've seen in the past with like was it Terrell Pryor, who's a former Oakland Raider quarterback, converted his position later on in his career to be a wide receiver. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he had 1,000 yards as a wide receiver for the Washington Redskins at the time. Like, I'm always very conscientious of the guys that I see being athletes more so than like the certain position that they play. Quarterback could convert to wide receiver in the NFL. Now, whether or not you'll be good is another thing, but like, hey, Richard Sherman was a wide receiver before he became an all-pro DB in the NFL. That shit happens. Maybe this kid is just playing the wrong position. And like, it might seem like a shot because the kid was undefeated in college and he was drafted first round to be a quarterback. But I mean, come on, bro. We got to try to, you know what I mean? Give him something.
Exaggeration. His freshman season at North Dakota State is arguably the greatest statistical season
Which is
college
crazy.
football quarterback has ever had. Nobody
25
outside of
touchdowns, no
NDSU
picks.
Fans really knew who Lance was when he was named the starter, but soon he became a household name. In a season where he led the Bison to a 16-win undefeated record, Lance would record 3,886 total yards and a 67% completion percentage, 42 touchdowns, and no interceptions. This wasn't luck. Look, he may not have been playing in the SEC or the Big Ten, but he still was making plays like this on a week-to-week basis. When you could put up numbers like that while making highlight reels every time you step foot on the field, you're certainly gonna have some hype to your name. This was legit the only season in his college career that he played over 2 games, and he was still a top 3 pick in the NFL draft. I mean, the only interception of his college career was this play that came in the one game that he played in 2020, and he still put up 292 total yards and 4 touchdowns. He literally didn't lose a single game in college. He's genuinely one of the greatest FCS quarterbacks of all time, and the Niners thought that so much that they traded multiple first-round picks just to move up 9 spots with the Miami Dolphins in order to draft him. In 2021, San Francisco made it very clear that Jimmy Garoppolo was not the long-term answer at quarterback, and were desperately looking for his replacement. And with how quarterback-heavy the 2020 class was, at least that's what we thought at the time, they knew that was their opportunity to get their guy. So they made a deal with the Dolphins where they would send 3 first-round picks, one from each of the next 3 years, to Miami to move up 9 slots to the 3rd overall pick. Well, hindsight's 2020, because when you look at it in 2024, this is one of the most lopsided trades in NFL history. Miami would use the 12th overall pick that year to trade up and get Jalen Waddle. They would then use their 2022 first to trade for Tyreek Hill. Then they would send the last first from 2023 to Denver in exchange for Bradley Chubb. Miami got one of the best receivers in football and 2 Pro Bowl players in exchange for one of the biggest busts in NFL history. You know what's so funny about this? San Francisco thought they lucked into getting Lance at the time. Seriously, if Zach Wilson hadn't made this absolutely crazy throw on his pro day, Lance very well could have gone number 2 to the Jets. But he didn't, and San Francisco was convinced that they had drafted their quarterback of the future.
It's wide open.
Exactly.
Oh my God, it's Trey Lance.
It is Trey Lance. That threw us for a loop. The quarterback from North Dakota State, who has 17 career starts in college football.
Lance would start only 4 games as a San Francisco 49er before he would suffer a season-ending ankle injury in 2022. The 49ers would then pivot to Jimmy Garoppolo and eventually Brock Purdy, who would emerge as a star, meaning that Lance didn't have a place on this team anymore. He went into 2023 as the 3rd-string quarterback before getting dealt to Dallas for a future 4th-round pick. And even then, the Cowboys didn't play him at all last year. The first in-game action he had as a Cowboy was this preseason, and he didn't show them anything promising. Trey Lance is a free agent after this season. I highly doubt that Dallas will bring him back. There's no place for him in Dallas, and it's genuinely hard to think that he would fit in anywhere. The only possible way I could see his career continuing after this season is if he signs with the Ravens, who are already eyeing Trey Lance this summer. Their backup quarterback situation is probably the worst in the league, and honestly, he could learn a thing or two from Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson was the vision that the 49ers had for Trey Lance originally, so maybe if he sits behind Lamar for a little bit, he can then learn what it means to be an actually decent dual-threat QB, instead of just having his legs to rely on. Plus, he could even be the 2nd-string guy there.
First of all, Mike, Lamar's more than just some decent dual-threat quarterback. 2-time most valuable player caliber quarterback. I'm saying, which is more than we could say for Dak. Mike, watch the narrative you put on my boy name now.
Who knows? This probably won't happen though, and Trey Lance will most likely be signing a UFL contract next year. It's really a shame because his career in San Francisco was really weird. He was given a great opportunity by the Cowboys to prove that he was still capable of being a good quarterback, and he failed. He had the stats, he had the rushing highlights, but he failed to show any signs of being an accurate quarterback. And that's what you need to be as an NFL quarterback. You can't just get away with relying on your legs to get you through each and every situation, and you could ask that from Justin Fields. You need to be able to read a defense, manipulate a pocket, and make accurate throws, but Trey Lance hasn't been able to do that. The literal only positive he brought to the table in those 3 games were fade routes to Ryan Flournoy. He can't make the big throw when he needs to, he can't run an offense, and it kills me to say this, but his career in the NFL is probably over. I highly doubt he ever sees the field again, which kills me because he had all the potential in the world. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.
I'm not gonna say his career is over because the kid at the end of the day is only what, 24, 20, 23, 24. I don't think Trey's that old for his career to be over, but it's been a mess. You know what I mean? And the money you've been making as a first-round pick while not producing, because Dallas is still paying him like a first-round pick quarterback, that's clip. I mean, you probably start signing for veteran minimums now. You know what I'm saying? Especially after, you just an athlete, Trey, until otherwise. I'm gonna holler at you guys next video. Y'all let me know in the comment section if y'all think it's over for Trey. I don't think it's over. But I think it's yeah, nobody's looking for Trey Lance. Not now. Hit the like and subscribe button for more content. I'm your host, Gabos. This is what I do, man. NFL season, day away. Get your popcorn.